Wait a minute. We're here to help, not to harm. Stay friends. Don't do anyone wrong. Care about everyone. Don't care at all what happened in the past. It's not relevant. It's forgiven. You're forgiven. I'm forgiven. We have lots of ideas about God, or to say it in a different way, what causes us to be here? Something has to cause us to be here. And typically we just say that's God. God is the creator of us and of everything. So we have us, and we have here, where we are, and we have God, the creator of here and of us. So there's three different things there. There's God, there's here, wherever you are, and there's you. So there's three things. What if there's just one thing? That's simpler. There's God, and there's God, and there's God. And that's all there is God. And God is the here, and God is the us. So God's here and God is us. God is all there is. One thing. People are fighting and arguing and disagreeing and controlling with ideas of God out there. God's over there somewhere. God's somewhere else and created us here, separate from God there. We can't find God there. We've looked for God out there. Find God here. Find God, the God that is all the things that are going on. That's what God is. So this might help stop us from fighting each other, because we're not looking for or believing that there's some authority over there somewhere that's God, that creates all the laws of God and tells us what's right and wrong. When then we have people have developed an idea that God has an enemy, and those rules don't apply to people that are with Satan. And it becomes a little bit absurd. So don't do anyone wrong and care about everyone. Whether you're a Satanist or a Jew or a Muslim or a Christian or an atheist. So atheists think that there's not a God out there that created us. That's what I just said also. So there's not a difference between this and that, because there's no this and that. There's just God. God's the that and God's the this. God's the atheists and God's the believers, and God's all the different mythological stories of God, and God is all the different lies that people have told. God's all the different reasons why humans needed to sacrifice things to God to get the grass to grow and to make money and to achieve power from God. So what I've experienced is that there's a primary. The primary is God. And then there's the secondary, where we're at, and there's me and you, and there's the world, and there's all of our cars, and all of our problems. These are secondary. It's in the secondary, and the God is the secondary. You can't have the secondary without the primary. We can't exist without God, without the primary, the first, the foundation. We have to have a foundation to stand on. So that's God. God's primary, we're secondary. So all of our problems are secondary. So if you experience life from the primary, it's just God doing this, I don't have a problem. I'm temporary in this state, in this problem, and it changes. The problem is changed. So when I've asked for help from something else that's secondary, that serves the primary, I serve God, and something else that's much greater than us also serves God, and I ask it for help, and I've already agreed not to do anyone wrong and to care about everyone, I have experienced unbelievable things from this other creation, create a creature. We call it creator and creature sometimes. I'd rather call it the primary and secondary being. The primary being doesn't even have to be involved in anything. It's just the foundation that we all stand on. So this is what the deists thought too, that God created and God doesn't intervene, doesn't interfere. It's like nature is an example of the secondary that does everything. So the people that want God to be out there and be the boss over us are killing each other over that. They want to kill me for saying this, because this includes atheism. So it's about whatever is true. We don't care if it's had a mind in the first place or not. We don't care if we evolved with biological evolution or whether we were created as separate species. We don't really care about that. We care about there's a fact to it, and we don't know exactly what the fact is. And we don't do others wrong, and we care about everyone. And when we do someone wrong, we say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. That's ho'oponopono. So anyway, the people from Mexico, Central America, South America, south of the border, are being threatened. I was just listening to a short clip of Malcolm X talking, and how the black people, they care about each other, and so when one black person is done wrong, all the black people are done wrong. Because they're black, they're different, they were slaves, they were discriminated against. So I realized this is the same mentality that I'm talking about from just human level. You hurt one human, you hurt all humans. We're staying friends. We're agreeing not to do anyone wrong. See, the black people would have had to agree to not do each other wrong for that to work. What this causes is a higher morality, a morality of don't do anyone wrong and care about everyone. So we can win. Who are we winning against? We're winning against the people that don't care about us, that are doing us wrong. So the Mexican people, the people south of the border, we're here to help them from being done wrong. They only need to take this moral high ground that's a higher morality than the white people. It's a higher morality than the people that want to force them to leave the country. This is like very unfair because the white people have made the laws and the economy and the corporations that need them here to provide labor. They need employees that work for less money. That's what they want. So the Mexican people come across the border to go to work, and now they're betrayed and called criminals. The government makes it takes like years for a person to become a citizen. So they're like causing this situation where, see the wisdom of God in this? The God that I'm talking about, that includes atheists, because we accept whatever the fact is on the history of how humans became human. We don't care. There's a fact to it. So geniuses and non-geniuses can agree on this. Science agrees on this. Science doesn't care what the truth is. They're just trying to find out what it is. Well, don't find out about my truth or I'm in trouble. So we don't care about your past in this Church of Fairness with the God that is all that is. There isn't anything other than God. So it doesn't matter how God created it. It was God that created it, and it's God that's what it is. It's only God. That's all there is. So the only law is don't do others wrong. White people, brown people, black people, yellow people, any kind of people, don't do them wrong and care about them. Because this is where we're getting the power to protect ourselves from those that don't care about us, those that are not thinking straight, and they're trying to defeat and to dominate and to control to solve their problem. So that's why we have the conflicts. People are trying to protect themselves from other people. What we're saying is there's not other people. There's only us. And we're the humans. And we don't do each other wrong, and we care about each other. So we don't need governments or religions involved in what I'm talking about. They're welcome to join us. They're invited to join us. I dreamed that the Pope joined us last night. I just remembered that. We don't care if you're Satanist or Christian. If you're a Satanist, we don't want anyone doing you wrong. We care about you. So see this, all this division of there's here and there's there, and there's God over there, and there's us here, and we're told different things from different gods. Just erase all that. There's only God. There's only one thing to worry about. And we don't even need to worry about it because we're absolutely safe. I mean, our physical life is a trail of tears sometimes. People get cancer, people get paralyzed in car wrecks. God doesn't cause that. God is that. Without mind, an earthquake kills people, they're buried. Is all I could think of is like, don't move, don't think, relax, stop fighting. People that are fighting against their own death they're afraid of death. But when you know that God is what is, and this secondary world is just not that important compared to the primary world, the one that is required is the primary, the God world. And that's where we come from, that's where we're going to return. We won't be secondary to God. We'll be God. God will be us. Absolutely. They call it merging with the absolute. So people argue about the soul. So my soul is the primary. And it's the secondary. It's the mountains. My soul is the sky, the mountains, the stars. It's not an individual thing at all. It's one soul. It's indestructible. It's God. God is what I am. God is what you are. God is what your dog is, and cat, and children. God is all of this. God is your car. So don't do anyone wrong. Care about everyone. And we're going to stop others from harming the people south of the border, just like we do the people north of the border. There's only people. What's the border? It's imaginary. We have imaginary differences that we think are important. No, God's important. God's the only thing that matters. Thanks for listening.